Hi, welcome to Off Script. I'm Zach Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Draper.
Today on the show, Ella McCay. Dude, this movie has like a 22 on Rotten. And people have been dunking on it all weekend.
Real rough.
Rough. But hey, it comes from a lot of talent from over at The Simpsons, right? James L. Brooks writes and directs. Emma Mackey's in it. Julie Kavner's in it. We're going to talk about it. Stick around for the Ella McCay review. It's not as bad as they say. I swear. It's for somebody, all right? We're going to talk about Die, My Love, the new Lynne Ramsay picture. We saw her last movie, the Joaquin Phoenix, No One Here Gets Out Alive. That's not it. I don't remember what it was. Anyway, this stars Jennifer Lawrence and Rob Pattinson, right? Katniss Everdeen of the Hunger Games, and
Edward,
the vampire from Twilight, Edward Cullen. Man, I'm just fumbling in here. I gotta get the news. All right, we're talking about Die, My Love. Stick around for the review. We're gonna talk about some trailers. All right, we're talking about Supergirl, Disclosure Day, new Spielberg. We got a trailer for that. That's really exciting. Before we get to everything, we talk about the news. Regrettably, and I'm really, really, in all seriousness, I'm really bummed to open with this, dude. Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner has passed away in his home along with his wife under mysterious circumstances, and it's really a bummer, man. People have been kind of mourning this all weekend. The president spoke out about it. That was a whole damn thing. What do you know about this, Andy?
Yeah, so this was really tragic. Happened over the weekend. Rob Reiner was killed inside his home. But the real strange thing is it was reported in a very strange way. They were like kind of dripping the information. It was like two people found killed in Rob Reiner's home, which makes it sound like it's a couple of randos or strangers or something. And eventually it's him and his wife. Very tragic. We're not going to get into too much of that, but a titan of Hollywood. He had an incredible run in the 80s and 90s.
I got it pulled up here on IMDb. Let me hit you with it real fast. 84, he does This Is Spinal Tap. In 86, Stand By Me, the Stephen King adaptation. 87, he does The Princess Bride. The very next year, in 89, sorry, 2 years from that, he does When Harry Met Sally, classic rom-com. He does Misery in 1990. 92, he does A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson. Incredible. That's how many movies is that? Almost in a row. Just banger after banger after banger after banger. In his later years, he started to wind back. He did a little bit more TV. He did notably a movie called The Bucket List in 2007 with Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman. But kind of smaller stuff. Most recently, he did a documentary about his Albert Brooks, actually, brother of James L. Brooks, who's in Ella McCay. We'll talk about him in just a minute. He did a documentary on him in 2023, and then he did Spinal Tap 2. The End Continues just this year. It was the legacy sequel to This Is Spinal Tap, which we didn't see, but some of you may have.
Just an incredible name in film and a lot of complete classics. Most directors would be lucky to have one of those films, and he has like 10. Really incredible legacy of comedy writing, and I forgot that he did Misery, which is pretty difficult horror movie starring the great Kathy Bates. Real tragic.
Yeah, he seemed to have a real ability to crisscross genre, right? Like he's doing like a kid's road movie, and then he jumps over to Princess Bride, which is like fantasy, but still has some of that kid stuff in it at the beginning and the end. Misery is like thriller, like odd horror. Like Few Good Men is incredible courtroom drama, like with Tom Cruise doing really good Cruise. You got 1992 Tom Cruise. It's fantastic. Like just a great run of movies, and it's really a bummer. I went and got some of his movies from my local library. I went and got When Harry Met Sally on Blu-ray because I didn't want to go looking for it on streamers. But dude, it's really a bummer. Regarding the circumstances, I don't think we need to talk about it. Let the world figure them out, man. I'm sure if you're listening,
let the true crime people do that podcast.
Yeah, dog. Yeah, that's not what we're doing. We got to talk about the Oscars. Actually, big news out of the Oscars. They announced the shortlist for the 98th Oscars this year with like 12 categories. We'll talk about in a second. But I wanted to push all that because today they announced that the Oscars are going to be on YouTube starting in 2029. It's a ways away, but huge, dude. I've been complaining about this for like 3 years on this podcast. Like, oh my God, we got to get the Oscars on the internet. Thank God. It's the best thing they've done in years. What do you know about this, Andy?
So before, it was really hard to watch the Oscars if you didn't have some sort of TV package. They've been owned by ABC since 1976, 50 odd years of these. But the ratings have been and viewership have been declining for the last 20 years, from a high of about 45 million viewers to less than half that. I think it was 19, 20 million in the previous Oscars. So I mean, people just don't watch TV anymore, and it's like, if this is more difficult to watch, why are you making it even more difficult? You could stream it if you had the they did stream it like the day after on Hulu last year, but again, it's the world's too fast. All the hot moments and all the awards are already on Twitter as it's happening, so it's kind of pointless. But yeah, starting in 2029, YouTube will get exclusive rights to stream it, and that's for like YouTube TV and just the regular YouTube. They also get access to like behind the scenes, red carpet, the whole shebang. They're gonna have, and it's like, finally we'll be able to sit and watch it and commentate through it. It'd be way easier to catch clips, all those things. I think it's a move way too late in the making, but it's the right one, I think.
I know. I wish they were doing it this year. Like, it's so much more shareable. I remember two specific incidents in Oscars history of when I've been kind of trying to watch and keep up with them since we've been doing the show, that this would have been great for. Number one, the Moonlight La La Land fumble, when like Warren Beatty reads the wrong thing on the wrong card and the people come up and then don't know what to do. Like, and that would have been great to be able to see online. And I remember reading about it on Twitter, but couldn't see who like what exactly was happening. And number two, the much more recent one, the Chris Rock Will Smith slap. Like, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars, and we're all on Twitter scrolling, and all we're seeing is text posts of people saying, "Oh my God, he slapped him," and then like clumsy bootlegs of somebody who's like filming their ABC screen in a bar, or like just pictures that like Hollywood Reporter put out. Nothing was immediately available, and we live in a time of like quick hits and fast clips and video, and putting this directly on a streaming service where people can watch it, ideally for free, would be tremendous, and that's the way it should be, and it will be so much more shareable and engageable on there. It sucks we got to wait this long. Come on, let's do this now. Like, I know ABC wants to make their money. I'm sure they got deals or whatever, but like, come on, let's go do simulcast, maybe like one step further, but a great something, I think.
This really points out that the streaming wars are also kind of turning into the TV wars, because now YouTube and Netflix, which is really their biggest rival, are they're looking for content. One of the podcasts I listen to, the Big Picture, their show, which is a video podcast, is now available on Netflix, and that's they're just trying to scoop up content. Again, Netflix wants you watching Netflix and not YouTube during while you're or whatever you're doing, and so this show's kind of a move. These big video platforms are now going after linear TV things. And one of the incredible stats in this article is that YouTube TV is the biggest linear TV platform, bigger than like, Comcast, AT&T, formerly Time Warner. Those big players that you're familiar with are all second to YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that YouTube has become such a player in the TV space. I don't use YouTube TV, but I consume a lot of YouTube content. I'm a YouTube Premium subscriber. I know some people that do, man. Like, I think it's, I don't know. Yeah, maybe YouTube is secretly the next cable. Everybody worries about Netflix, but I don't know, dude. I think YouTube might be the big bad. We got to talk about the shortlist. Let's get into it real fast. 98th Oscars have a shortlist out of, what is a shortlist, Andy, for people who are maybe tuning in and don't actually know? It's not the nominations. It's the list before the nominations, right?
Right. So our final nominations are usually 5 in most categories, 10 in the Best Picture, but it starts with a larger list of 15 to 20, or sometimes less. And so about half of those came out. Number of smaller categories, and also the new casting category, which is a brand new Oscar award that they can be given out. Not real clear what the criteria is for that. Is it for the people who make the casting? Is it for what they've wanted for a long time, which is like an ensemble award? Unsure. Let's get into it. For casting, brand new category, films listed: Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, Surat, Weapons, and Wicked for Good. And what you're gonna start seeing a lot of the same names in all these categories, which is gonna kind of point to what we're gonna start seeing as we get close to the Oscar nominations, which are in about a month, I think.
Yeah, it's funny to see Wicked getting as much attention in here as it does. And we're going to talk about cinematography in just a second, but you'll see an emerging theme of One Battle After Another and Sinners getting a lot of attention as well, which I think have both been a big buzz in the film space this year, so no real surprise there. Cinematography, yeah, 16 films in the category. Going to bust them out real fast. Ballad of a Small Player, Begonia, Die My Love, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Nouvelle Vogue, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Values, Sinners, Seurat, Song Sung Blue, Sound of Falling, Train Dreams, and Wicked for Good. This is the second time I've seen Seurat on a list, Andy. What is that movie? I don't actually remember.
So that's an international release. We haven't seen it yet. I just remember it's about a father-son who go kind of on a quest to find their daughter who's gone missing / run away, and it's like they have to go to all these raves in like the desert, basically, and it's like a quest to find their daughter. And apparently the music's really great, but it's been showing up on a lot of lists up there with things like It Was Just an Accident. Definitely a movie to see whenever it comes out. Documentary feature film, The Alabama Solution, Apocalypse in the Tropics, Coexistence My Ass, Come See Me in the Good Light, Cover Up, Cutting Through Rocks, Folk Tales, Holding Hot, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, Mistress Dispeller. I should have skipped this category. I don't know any of these films.
I was going to say, I don't know a lot of these. You can bail. You can just go to something else. I'm good with it.
Yeah. International.
I was going to go to makeup and hairstyling.
International feature film, because this is going to be a big one. Bellin, The Secret Agent, which we've talked a little bit about. It Was Just an Accident, Sound of Falling, Homebound, The President's Cake, Kokuo, All That's Left of You, Sentimental Value again, Palestine 36, No Other Choice, shout out again, Seurat, Late Shift, Left-Handed Girl, which I think that's actually on Netflix now, the voice of Hind Rajab. So again, things that we're gonna start to see on there. Big front runner there are It Was Just an Accident, Sentimental Value, Seurat, No Other Choice, of course.
Yeah, and I really want to catch Wagner Moura and The Secret Agent out of Brazil. We saw that trailer just a few weeks ago, and I kind of haven't heard anything about it since, but like, I don't know. Looks like something cool is going on in that movie, so solid category. Makeup and hairstyling.
I laughed at the
really important ones. Yeah, let me get down to something really exciting. Alto Nights, starring oh God, not Robert Downey Jr. What's his name?
It is Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro, that's right. Frankenstein, Kokuo, Marty Supreme, Nuremberg. Oh God, Nuremberg. One Battle After Another, Sinners, The Smashing Machine, The Ugly Stepsister, and Wicked for Good. I don't know who I think's gonna take it in here, but
I thought it was cool to see The Ugly Stepsister, which is a movie that I haven't seen yet, but I've seen advertised on Shudder, which is like a Cinderella story.
Horror, yeah.
I've heard it's real grisly, so it's fun to see it on there. But again, we're seeing a lot of the same names: Sinners, One Battle After Another. Those might be the two titans. Wicked for Good is the Universal paid to be on here. There's a lot of campaigning that goes on. Music original score, big list here. Avatar, Fire and Ash, Begonia, Captain America, Brave New World. That's a sneak. Diane Warren, Relentless, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Hedda, A House of Dynamite, Jay Kelly, Marty Supreme, Nuremberg, again, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Seurat, Train Dreams, Tron Ares, Truth and Treason, Wake Up Dead Man, A Knives Out Mystery, and Wicked for Good. Man, that is quite the category. Captain America should not be on there. If anything, it should be Thunderbolts if you're picking a Marvel movie.
I think Disney largely shouldn't be on any of these, but I think they get some passes somewhere. Like Avatar, I'm sure will get some attention, but like. Yeah, Tron Ares for best sound. Stop that. Get that out of here. Come on. Like Captain America, Brave New World for best sound. No. That's not right. Music original song. I think I'm going to skip. Sound. Visual effects. That's exciting. I like visual effects. Can I talk about that one?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So here we have Avatar, Fire and Ash, The Electric State, F1, Frankenstein, Jurassic Park, World Rebirth, Don't Laugh Until I'm Done, The Lost Bus,
Sorry.
Sinners, Superman, Tron Ares, Wicked for Good. I'm happy to see Superman get on here. There's only so much bandwidth of what the studios can campaign for. So Warner Brothers is putting all their money behind Sinners and One Battle After Another. So something like Superman isn't really getting a lot of campaign dollars. I like that they were on visual effects. Fantastic Four, notably not on visual effects or score. So we'll see who takes it.
I definitely don't like The Electric State. I think that movie sucks and shouldn't be on here at all. And it's really funny.
So bad.
And now that the Academy's had their laugh, let's get this off the short list. Let's do away with that. Put that in the dustbin of history and let's move on. That movie's terrible. Tron Ares, maybe. That's certainly much more than sound. I think I could go, okay, yeah, sure. They've got some visual stylings in that movie. I don't think it's that good, but I like it more than I think Wicked, which I didn't think Wicked 1 looked that bad, and then I went and saw Wicked 2 and was like, oh, okay, I do see what people were saying. It's kind of flat and gray, and the lighting's lit for CGI. And then I went back and rewatched Wicked Part 1. I was like, oh no, I can't unsee it. Like the first time through, I didn't know. You know what I mean? I didn't see how the sausage was made. Now I'm not so sure, but clearly somebody's impressed. A lot of Oz stuff. I don't know, like maybe. Anyway, when do we get actual noms? It looks like the nominations begin voting on Monday, January 12th, and conclude on Friday, January 16th. So they'll be announced on January 22nd, 2026, a little under a month away.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. It's cool that we have a short list. Again, we're seeing a lot of the similar films, Avatar, Frankenstein, Sinners, One Battle After Another, Wicked. So we'll see what, the real exciting stuff like actor, actress, writing has yet to be displayed. So we'll find out about that in about a month.
We have spent way too much time in news, but we're going to bust through just two more quick stories. Three. Yeah, no, two more quick stories, then quick box office. Here it is. Next one, 28 Years Later, Part 3 is happening. Crazy that this was not approved in the first place. Wild that it worked. Shout out to Danny Boyle and Alex Garland for putting together a truly special movie in the first one. And it sounds like Sony is making a third movie. It's wild that they weren't going to make 3 movies the whole time. You know what I mean? Like they just planned for 2 and hoped they'd work. And here we are.
Yeah, when Sony got the rights to the 28 Days Later franchise, they agreed to do 2 films, which we've seen 28 Years Later, and then The Bone Temple, which comes out next, about a month from today. Early reactions to The Bone Temple have been phenomenal. People really excited, the insiders, press that have gotten to see it already. And so that, based on that buzz alone, they've greenlit the third film, which will be also written by Alex Garland, possibly directed by Danny Boyle. Nia DaCosta's directing the second film, so we might be back. And Cillian Murphy also will probably be back in the third one as well. So I'm glad that they feel confident enough to make the third one.
In a time of like bum legacy sequels, it's really exciting to see something like 28 Years Later, like something that would have been just another cash in, like we feel like so many of these are, kind of steps forward and reinvents itself a little bit and does something fresh and new and different, introducing characters like Ray Fiennes and giving us a little bit of a lead in into the next feature. Bone Temple is coming out. That's from Nia DaCosta. Really enjoyed Candyman. I know that movie had some problems, but her Candyman remake was really rad just a couple of years ago. So I'm looking forward to seeing that one and how she can kind of step into the style that Boyle put forward in the first movie. But one thing's for sure, big promises for part 3, right? Like we're gonna have to wrap this thing up. It's something people seem to really look forward to. It did great at the box office, and we might have to try to get Cillian Murphy back. And he's in talks, it sounds like, right? Like we don't actually know if he's gonna come back and do the third movie. I don't even know what capacity he would be in the third movie, but might happen. Would be cool if it happened, I think. It reminds me of I don't know, bringing back an old legacy cast, right? So, yeah, 28 Years Later news. Good. Positive. You like the series? Good. Anything else on this before I jump into Disney, Andy?
I'm ready.
Disney is investing $1 billion in OpenAI. Big news week this week. Yeah, Disney's pumping $1 billion into AI. It sucks. What do you know about it, Andy?
So Disney, who's famously very protective of their copyright and their properties, and they have some of the most ferocious lawyers out there, has strangely partnered with Sora, the AI company, to license its characters for use. Earlier this year, we saw them bring a class action lawsuit along with Universal and Warner Brothers against Midjourney, who's another image generating AI, for copyright infringement. But it looks like they're not going to try and stop this. What they want is their piece of the pie. So they're going to invest money in OpenAI so that you can basically, they're going to get that money back in the form of licensing. They're going to collect a fee for Sora being able to use those characters, and probably for you, the user, if you want to use those characters, there's probably going to be a premium to pay if you want to then use those for any content creation yourself, again, also going to have to pay for that. It's a strange thing, but like I said, they're looking to just get their money and not try to stop this wave. To quote Blade Runner 2049, you can't stop a wave with the broom. That's not the right quote, but it's close.
Yeah, no, that's awful.
So
that's awful close.
That looks like what they're trying to do.
It's a bummer. I don't think I need to get on here and beat the AI bad drum, but like the only reason these AI platforms exist in the way that they do, these large language learning models, is because the companies that run them stole a shitload of content. They stole a shitload of content and they started copying, pasting content from the internet into their large language models to train them so that they would be able to draw Mickey Mouse and make Baby Yoda or whatever else you put into their prompts, right? Like without having images from Disney, they could not have trained their models to create images from Disney. They had to import something to get something out of it. It sucks that Disney is going along with this rather than saying, hey, you owe us and we're going to stop you until you get what we pay for. Just like Andy said, they go, well, can't stop it, can't put the genie back in the bottle. We might as well figure out how we can get a piece of the pie. And it's manufacturing consent for big companies to take from people. And that's wrong. To take from people and monetize it and try to serve it back to us is some kind of, slop. It sucks. So I don't like any of this, right? Like, I don't like any of this. And I definitely don't like the idea of Disney paying into this. But like you pointed out when I complained to you earlier this week, Andy, when you put this story on the outline, they are actually getting money out of this. This is not just about like, oh, we're paying in and it's going to work out. Like Disney is looking to get a return here very directly from working with OpenAI.
Yeah, like I said, I think the way this is going to be used is that you can have Baby Yoda fighting Captain America in your Star Wars crossover. It's going to be that sort of thing. You mentioned letting the genie out of the bottle. I think that's what's going to happen here. I think this is going to go in a very bad way because part of copyright is protecting like your image and your brand. And if someone can make kind of anything with your likeness, the likeness of Mickey Mouse or Darth Vader, I think that could go really wrong really fast. So they're gonna have to be very protective over it. It might be priced out. It might be like, okay, you have to pay $20,000 yearly fee if you have access to like the Disney characters, which would relegate it only to studio use, that sort of thing. But even then, I think eventually it would get out of hand.
Like Getty Images or something, right? Like insane costs for stock photography because we only want businesses consuming it. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know, dude. I hope people make the dumbest. One, nobody should make anything with AI, but if you're going to make anything with AI, definitely don't pay Disney to use their characters, all right? Because they're clearly paying in to you paying them, and that sucks. Whatever. One more story on the box office. Zootopia 2 has rocketed to $1 billion, man, for Zootopia 2. Disney can do no wrong, right? What's the story, Andy?
In just 17 days, Zootopia 2 has reached over $1 billion. One of the fastest movies to do it. I think the fastest for an animated property, for a PG property. It made $26.3 million over the weekend domestically. And like I said, hit that big billion number. One of the few movies to do so. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's not exactly... Doesn't ring well against my argument that we should be creative and make new art and not just make the same old when the same old makes so much money. But for what it's worth, people seem to think Zootopia 2 is really good. I had a couple people reach out. We didn't cover it on the show. We said you guys might want to check it out sometime. It's a really great script and it's a really good time. And like, hey, I'm glad it should be, right? Like, I hope if we're gonna just be making sequels, like at least put some good creativity at the front of it. So I'm glad it's doing well. I good. And I like Zootopia 1 and Zootopia good, right? It's great. No real complaints, I think, about Zootopia.
Continuing on with the rest of the box office, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 came in second with $19.5 million domestically, $173 million globally. Continues to do well. Wicked for Good, $8.6 million domestically, $467 million globally. Doing pretty well, but definitely slowing down behind the first one. We knew that this was probably going to happen. It just doesn't have the legs and it's not the phenomenon that the first film was. An Indian film, Durandar, which I don't know anything about, 3.5 million, 61 million globally. Big global opening there, was on top of all the charts. Now You See Me, Now You Don't, the third film in that, that franchise, 2.3 million, over 200 million globally. It's doing really, really well. And the film we're going to talk about very briefly, Ella McCay at 2.1 million over thousands of theaters. Now, something I was talking about with Zach is that a lot of these adult movies or these indie movies, they used to platform, which means they would start in like a few theaters, New York, LA, and then slowly expand their footprint. But now, because movies go to VOD so fast, they don't really have the time. So now they're just putting them in like 2,000 theaters, 2,400 theaters right off the bat. And it kind of looks bad. Like when your film doesn't make money, it just looks like a big bomb.
It seems like a lot of people are really excited about the next couple of weeks, right? Like Christmas is historically the biggest day at the movies. Marty Supreme comes out Christmas Day. Avatar is just about to drop this week. Like we're definitely about to see one more big boom before the end of the year. And it's exciting, man. This is our penultimate episode. Like next week, we're doing episode 320. We're doing our top 10s. We're doing Avatar. We're doing Marty Supreme. It's going to be a banger. So yeah, that's, I don't know. I don't know how I managed to turn that into a plug for us, but anyway, things are good. We should talk about Ella McCay. We got to get to this movie. It's time. It's far past time. Andy's taking the summary on this, so I'll get out of his way. Andy, please take it away.
Ella McCay. So this is the latest film by writer-director James L. Brooks, legend of Hollywood writer. He's written such well-known things as Good as It Gets from the late 90s, which is a big Oscar winner, Broadcast News. He did a lot of TV writing in the 70s and 80s on The Mary Tyler Moore Show and Taxi. So the man's an institution. He's been around. He's in his 90s. Now comes Ella McCay, which stars the great Emma Mackey. There's a lot going on here. I'll stick with the present. It takes place in 2008. And she's the lieutenant governor of an unnamed state for some reason. And her boss, played by Albert Brooks, has gotten a job in Washington, and she's next in line to be governor. And she's super excited, and she has all this legislation she wants to do. And Ella McCay is just a spirit. She's a go-getter. She's smart. She's driven. She's just kind of all these things. I hate to use the word Mary Sue, but that's kind of unfortunately how she's been written. And while she has all these political aspirations, there's a ton going on in her personal life. Her estranged father comes out of the woodwork, played by Woody Harrelson, seeking forgiveness for past wrongs. She has a strange relationship with her younger brother, who's a bit of a shut-in and has been out of contact for a while. Her husband's a bit of a skeezy social climber for some reason. And all these also mixed with flashbacks to her teenage version of herself, played by the same character. They have 30-year-olds playing teenagers in this movie, and it's real funny. All that to say, this movie's real bad. This might be the worst movie I've seen all year, and we're going to have a fun time talking about it. Zach, what did you think?
So Ella McCay is really bad. Ella McCay is really bad. And it's bad, like, not because it isn't endearing, because it is. I think the story is endearing, and the character of Ella is kind of played well by Emma Mackey. I like the people in this. I just think Brooks just has not got the gas he used to have, and that's okay. He was born in 1937, dog. Like, I don't expect him to have it. Notably, Scorsese is just 5 years behind him, born in 1942, and he's still making movies. But even still, like, I think this is a miss from James L. Brooks, and that's okay. That's okay. Like, I'm not big on his movies, but it just makes for a long 2 hours, man. Like, it is a shame Ella McCay is as boring as it is, because it feels just like the longest movie in the whole world. And while there are a lot of swings and laughs, and a few of them hit for sure. I do want to say, like, I had some old folks in my theater. They were laughing, dog. Like, this movie is for somebody for sure. But also, like, I had a couple, at least one walkout for sure. I think two. People who just laughed about 2/3 into the movie just because it's like, this is awkward and boring and the dialogue is stilted. It reminds me of, like, just the way, like, the dialogue just doesn't feel like the way real people talk. And people have been bickering about this online. Some say, no, that's exactly how people are. Others are like, no, dude, it's like Shyamalan-esque dialogue, or like it's like the way people talk in, like, Highest to Lowest, like this, like, melodrama kind of space that just is not, like, real, and it just feels kind of phony and like, I don't know. What did you think? Like, What do you got?
So this is like a time capsule movie. Like this is written like it's from the 90s. And it kind of takes place because it, like I said, takes place in 2008, but the young version is in 1990. And it reminds me of things like Home Alone or Father of the Bride, or these like, we used to have these movies that were real fantastical in a way. Like Kevin McAllister's lives in this giant mansion, but it, like you don't really think about that. But now our films are so much more grounded and a little bit more true to life. And it's just like it's a weird movie out of the 90s. Like the Ella McCay, her 16-year-old self is like the smartest, most brilliant person ever. I was like, no 16-year-old is that smart or that clever. There's also just really strange plot elements that are played for laughs. So Woody Harrelson plays her father, and the movie opens with a flashback scene when she's 16 years old, and her mother, played by Rebecca Hall, is kind of crying, and it turns out her father's a philanderer, and he's been cheating and constantly cheating on his wife, and she pulls her mother aside and she's like, Mom, why do you keep going back to him? And she's just, I just love him so much, I can't leave him ever. And I was like, what are we doing? Like, we don't write like no one writes characters like that, especially female characters in 2025. And it's almost like you have a man trying to write a strong woman, and in doing so he actually does the opposite.
Right. Like, it reminds me of the way other directors try, like their dialogue just kind of doesn't fit real good in like the way we normally anticipate dialogue. It feels outdated. And it is. Like, I saw a lot of people online saying this feels like a script that was written 15 years ago and then left in a drawer. And then somebody just pulled it out 4 days before shooting and was like, all right, here we go. Let's just hit this right here. And like, I think people gave a lot of space to Brooks. Like, he's got a big career in The Simpsons. He's made some great films. Like, I think nobody red penned him. You know what I mean? They were like, this works. I think the cast works really hard. I think Emma Mackey is doing a lot of work to try to pull up what's here. Like, and she's giving a lot of like, she's doing a lot of like things with her mouth and like eyebrows, a lot of like ticks and kind of little things to be this like strong-willed individual who just kind of has the whole world against her. There is a bit of like idealism here in this 2008 world where it's like we all Kavner's got a great line at the beginning. Back in 2008 when we all used to get along with one another, you know what I mean? Terrible setting for a movie. Hard to relate to. Nobody gets along now. Like part of Ella's biggest problems is like old politicians that just can't like get along with her, and how like if the young people could just appeal to like the older generation, you know what I mean, and they could connect, then things would work. Like she really tries to pull that up, and it kind of works, but she's just limited by what the movie's doing with her character. Jamie Lee Curtis is a lot of fun as Aunt Helen. There's actually a really great scene with the two of them towards the end of Act 1 where they have this like tearful phone call as things are getting stressful in Ella's life, and I was like, okay, yeah, here we go. Woody Harrelson's kind of funny. He's only in a couple scenes. Ayo Edebiri is hardly in the film. I honestly can't believe she gets a poster credit like for how little she's in the movie. Kumail Nanjiani is fine as a local driver, you know, and security guard and like town cop. I think people are good for what's here, but like they can't save this like energy that the film is just dragging.
For me, none of these jokes landed. Like in my theater, there were a few chuckles here and there, but no one, like the laughs just didn't land at all, which always feels really awkward. To me, the humor is also incredibly outdated. Her father being a philanderer and like sex addict essentially is played for laughs. Like she's like, oh, he's Woody Harrelson's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I slept with your college best friend. I'm sorry, I'm here to make amends, and it's like played for laughs. I was like, that's really not really funny anymore. That was maybe funny 30 years ago. There's also things like she accidentally Ella McCay accidentally drinks like some THC lemonade, and so she's like, the governor accidentally gets high, what a scandal. And I was like, that was funny in 2000, maybe in a stoner comedy, but it's just so out of place. There's a place where Jamie Lee Curtis like yells out the window, did he wear a condom? And again, the sex humor, like that's funny 25 years ago. Not now. It's just so out of place and not funny at all. And oh God, it was painful.
That specific condom line got 2 laughs in my theater though, from some old folks who were like, ha ha, like I could hear them back there chuckling. And I think that's part of who this is for. Like older folks, like who got a rosy look backwards. You know what I mean? They got that rosy nostalgia, rose-colored glasses, and like I can see that for sure. I think there's some stuff in here that works, and because it's coming from an older director, I think they kind of connect in that way. This unspoken kind of energy. But number two, and this one's really interesting, like there's this funny, like glorious sort of memification of Ella McCay that's happening over on Twitter, where people are like talking about going and seeing it in the middle of the day and nobody being in there, and doing goofy poses out in front of the poster where they're trying to hold up their shoe just like she's putting it on the poster. And like, I don't know. I think people like, there's this funny energy of like, hey man, let people make weird movies sometimes. Like it's not a bad movie for sure, but it just does not fit in like the shape of any other movie of like the past 5 years. And in a lot of ways, it's kind of respectable. Like there's a bit of energy to it that you're like, I definitely haven't seen anything like this recently, but I don't think it's the worst film of the year either. You know,
I I think it's in contention for it personally.
Okay.
All
right.
It definitely is for the crowd if that hasn't seen a movie in like 5 years. I had an older crowd in my theater as well who was commenting the entire way through, which I think added to the ambiance of Ella McCay. There's things that like just fundamental things. The plot makes no sense. She's like on this mission to get some legislation done. I think that's the main plot, but then there's all this family stuff and there's like 5 subplots going on.
Oh, I figured it was about the reporter blackmailing her. I thought that was the main plot. That's
like plot number 6. That's plot number 6, you know?
Yeah.
But like she's worried about her brother. She goes as the governor with her security. She goes to his like little trashy apartment twice and has 2 very long scenes where she like doesn't leave this apartment. And there's just, she's too busy with these subplots. And then the main plot gets lost. Yeah, someone's trying to blackmail her. There's political things that are, it's just like, it's all over the place. It's like they didn't know what order to cut the film.
Yeah, there's definitely problems in editing. There's a scene when she first goes and meets her brother in Act 2 at his apartment, kind of has an awkward encounter, ends up staying a while, and then leaves to go to work. And then she gets to her office and gets a text from him and immediately turns around and goes back. And now we're back at the apartment. The lighting's the same. They're in the same outfits. And it's like, why did we leave in the middle of this? And it's because something happened. Something got cut out of order. We had some series of events that was in the script, and then we cut it for time. Julie Kavner gains and loses like 40 pounds in this movie. Inexplicably. The first time we see her, she's like rail thin, and she looks like she's sitting in a nursing home, and she's like talking to us as the narrator in what seems like flashback. And then we flash to her telling us about her time with Ella McCay, and she's like, she's like heavier, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, this is weird. And then later in the movie, it cuts back to her being thin again. And I'm like, what? Hold on a second. Like, when did this happen? And I think her thin self shows up in the storyline with Ella when she's supposed to be the heavy version. So I don't know if they got that in reshoots. I don't know if she had a surgery. She's older. I don't know what happened, but there's some things that happen in this movie that are out of order for sure. Like something happened in the editing room that they had to cut and switch and change.
Yeah, the plots are all over the place, and I feel like there's not really any defining characteristics of Ella McCay. It's not like Vice said, oh no, I can't remember, Bridget Jones. Like you hear a name like that, you immediately think, oh, Bridget Jones is this and that, and you know, she's a character of this, and I think that's what we're supposed to get from Ella McCay. But she doesn't really have any defining features, and she's also like, she's kind of flawless. Like she doesn't change. She doesn't go on a journey. She doesn't like, you know, learn the true meaning of Christmas or something like that. She's just kind of the same character from beginning to end, and some things kind of get solved in her life, but she doesn't go on a journey of any kind. It's very strange.
Yeah, like not a lot of character growth. She's kind of just always right, but not in a way that's like contrite. Like I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, like Ella McCay's an odd movie, and I think we should probably wrap it up at that. Not a lot to say about the soundtrack. Not a lot to say about how it's shot. I'd say it's too long for sure. It's 2 hours, and dude, it feels like 3. Good God. I got out of that movie. It was like 7:00, and I felt like I had the whole night ahead of me. But we should wrap it up. Any other thoughts or recommendations?
I'm ready.
Andy, would you recommend Ella McCay?
Hard pass on this, man. I thought this was really bad. It's a movie from 30 years ago. The performances are fine. It's not funny. It's supposed to be like an adult comedy drama. None of the comedy works. The drama is weirdly from 30 years ago. Again, it's like, haha, your dad cheats on your mom all the time. Isn't that so funny? It's too long. It's all over the place. It's definitely maybe for people who don't watch movies and just need something like watch it with your grandparents. It'll be fine. Watch it with your parents. But hard pass for me.
Yeah, it's a bit of a time capsule movie, and it feels like a script from a decade ago, and it's set a while back too, so it works. If you like it, I think older folks will like it. I think like odd cinephiles will like it, just like weird mid-budget movies that don't ever do that good. Otherwise, I worry it's going to be in a DVD bin. You know what I mean? Like I think it's going to be like a $5 Walmart buy. But Ella McCay, wait for it to come streaming. Don't bother. No rush to go out to the theaters. And yeah, that's Ella McCay. We get 2 trailers to talk about this week. Andy, what do we call this segment?
It's time for the trailer park. So we're going to kick this off with Supergirl, which we finally saw the full trailer or teaser, really, of starring, of course, the great Millie Alcock, who first burst on the scene in House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones spinoff show. This is going to be the second film in the DC universe, the new DCU, helmed by James Gunn. This film is not directed by him, which a lot of people think it is, but it's directed by Craig Gillespie. And we find Supergirl kind of like a drunk party girl. She's not having a good time. She's celebrating her birthday, but she's like, yeah, and nothing can get worse than this year. We see her team up with a young girl, and I just know this from reading the comic it's based on. This young girl and this Supergirl for a mission of revenge against an enemy called Krem of the Yellow Hills, who we see briefly. The trailer also features a glimpse at Lobo, played by Jason Momoa. It looks fun. It looks lighthearted. There's a great quote where Supergirl says, Superman sees the best in everyone and I see the truth. So we see very different characters here. Someone who's more cynical, angry. We get some superpower stuff. Looks like fun. I was kind of hoping for more. I'm hoping the longer trailer that we get in a few months will kind of give us a little bit more plot and tone.
Yeah, real sparse on Momoa. I thought we'd see more of him in there, but they're going to save that for whatever the next trailer is. I'm curious to see if they can keep up like the juice. Because Superman came out and made like $600 million. Didn't do that good internationally, overseas, but still bigger than Marvel's Fantastic Four, which made like $450. So Superman beats Fantastic Four at the box office. Big W for DC. Dude, if Supergirl had been like down the theater, if it had been like two theaters down from Superman, I'd have bought a ticket and walked in right after. I was on the train. I was with it. So can they keep that energy going, now that it's been a while? And then also, can you get some energy from international audiences? Momoa, I think, is a secret weapon here. My man is a cruise missile into international audiences. Anything he does, it usually pops pretty good over there. So maybe we can get some more, but also female protagonists. I know they're weird about that over there. Unfortunately, we got some people here who are weird about that too. And I hope that doesn't hold it back. How do you think it's going to do, Andy?
That's where Lobo comes in. He's the balance to Supergirl. Lobo is canonically like a hunter. He's like a space hunter, regenerative. He's DC's answer to Wolverine, basically. He's not in the original comic, so they've kind of shoehorned him into the story. But I think that if anyone can get young men and international audiences, it's going to be Momoa and Lobo as a character.
Let's talk about the trailer for Disclosure Day. This is Spielberg's new movie, which has been really exciting for movie fans like Andy and I. Steven Spielberg is shooting a UFO movie. That's what we've been hearing for like a year. And that's all we know about it. He's going back to sci-fi, right? The guy who made Close Encounters. Hey, we're finally getting something exciting again. But we don't know what it is. Well, now we have an idea. Disclosure Day. This is a teaser featuring Josh O'Connor, who we just saw in Wake Up Dead Man, and Emily Blunt, who we just saw in Smashing Machine, actually, as 2 characters. Connor, as far as I know, of the limited things I can tell, has some sort of connection with animals, and Emily Blunt is a meteorologist who one day at her job appears to start like speaking in tongues or something. Like while live, she starts to kind of speaks some sort of language that people don't understand. We get some quick flashes to Colin Firth, who seems to be some sort of wealthy man who is hooked up to like a machine. We get some crop circles, which are real cool, man. I haven't seen these things in forever. Lots of screens and world news, and then a flash to Disclosure Day, our logo. It's a teaser. We don't know a lot about it, but it's Steven Spielberg, which is really exciting, doing like big action and sci-fi, right? The guy who did Minority Report. So I don't know. What do you know about Disclosure Day, Andy?
Man, this looks real cool. This looks like old school Spielberg. People are like Close Encounters, E.T., that kind of kids on bikes kind of vibe. It reminded me a lot of E.T. It looks fun, and there's this overall theme of like truth, and Josh O'Connor's character is saying like the truth matters. We got to get the truth out there. Maybe they're trying to expose that there's aliens among us, something like that. Josh O'Connor's stock on the rise, like you said. He's in Wake Up Dead Man. He's in everything these days. He's gonna become a household name after not too long. Excited to see Spielberg back in the pilot's chair and see this a big summer release, summer 26. We don't have an exact date yet. I'm super excited for this.
Me too. You know, I've seen some people shortlisting Josh O'Connor for Bond again. What do you think? There's no way they make him James Bond, right? They were like, it's perfect. Wake Up Dead Man's the handoff movie, right? You got Benoit, you got him. It's just like, I don't know.
He's a little bit too. He's got too much like spunk. He's a little bit too charming. He's a little bit too happy.
He's not charismatic enough. Yeah.
I keep hearing it's Jacob Elordi is the front runner for Bond.
He's British, right? Yeah, that would work. Yeah. Anyway, Disclosure Day. Yeah, oh God, guy. Yeah. Keep it. I was reading. What's his name? I don't know. We'll talk about it later. Disclosure Day. Keep it on off script for more. We got to talk about one more movie. The episode's running long. We're gonna get to it. I'm gonna take the summary on this, so please excuse me. Funny delivery. The movie is Lynne Ramsay's Die My Love. So, the story of Die My Love, or how this movie came along, goes like this. Reportedly, all right, it begins with Martin Scorsese, our acclaimed director, who runs a private book club. He recommends that Jennifer Lawrence reads Die My Love, which is an English title of an original work by Argentine author Ariana Harwitz. Lawrence reads it. She loves it. She's looking for a new project. She comes on as an executive producer. They start looking for a director. They land on acclaimed Scottish filmmaker Lynne Ramsay. And this is how we get Die My Love, a 2-hour exploration into a woman kind of going nuts, man. It's kind of a woman going crazy. It's the story of Grace, played by Jennifer Lawrence, and Jackson, played by Robert Pattinson, who at the beginning of the film move into this old house, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Grace and Jackson do not have a lot, but they do have a newborn on the way, which is very exciting. The baby is born, and following this event, Grace, a writer, begins to spiral. It could be postpartum depression. It could be just a quick thing. All the moms in her life tell her, hey, I went a little crazy too when I had my first one. But she can't shake it, and it turns into depression, and this turns into visions and hallucinations of madness. Jackson cannot keep up. He doesn't know how to help her, and it's just kind of a spiral downward, right? The movie is Die My Love, and I'm very excited to talk about it. Andy, what'd you think of Die My Love?
So Jennifer Lawrence has been talked about as being on the Oscar shortlist for this film. This had a lot of praise coming out of the festivals. Has been a little bit more mixed as it's gotten a wider release, which brings me back to you never know about that festival buzz. Everything that comes out is like the greatest thing ever. So this is a tough movie to get through, but I think it is doing something really interesting. It's a homework film. It's amazing to talk about afterwards. It's a bit of a challenge to get through, but we find Grace and Jackson kind of dirt poor. They're moving into his deceased uncle's house in rural Montana. Everyone is very isolated, and she's just, she's beginning to experience essentially a postpartum psychosis. And the film is very experimental because you don't really know what's real and what's not, what's dream, what's vision, what's fantasy. It all kind of blends together, but there are a lot of real worrying things. Jennifer Lawrence does this thing where she crawls around in the grass, very like lioness type, but she's always like, the first scene you see her and she's like carrying a butcher knife around, like I was like, this is like Michael Myers style, and she just like runs to pick up her baby and like throws the knife like kind of close to it, and I was like, oh my god, like, and that is just one of a bunch of unhinged moments. But she's left alone. Like Jackson works who knows where she suspects he might be unfaithful. She's not real sure. Again, there's all these fantasies. She's left alone and just slowly losing her mind. But is she? And it's a long line of films about motherhood this festival season, and this is one of the one that's being talked about a lot. Incredible performance, difficult subject matter.
Yeah, somebody pointed me to like the yellow wallpaper when I was talking about this movie. Like, you ever read that story? Woman just like kind of going crazy, like trapped, and the world around her thinks they're helping, but it's like only getting worse. Feels applicable to what's going on here. Lawrence's character Grace is just feeling trapped by the social expectations of you're now married and you're a mother. You find out in the film that she kind of has a checkered past with her parents who kind of weren't around. So she was a very free spirit. She expresses herself that way. She's very sensual. There's a lot of nudity, a lot of banging in this movie. But not like in a sexy way, unfortunately. It's all pretty off-putting. But this is kind of who she is. She's a very free spirit. She's a writer. And like, as they kind of get this house and they start to fix it up and they have their baby, like the walls just close in on her, like, and she just starts to go nuts. There's a dog in the movie that kind of comes in at one point. Yeah. And this dog is such a great, it's like one of these mechanisms that only works in a movie. It wouldn't work in a book. The dog is just barking all the time. And just every scene, you just hear the barking back behind, bark, 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 and it's just constant. This animal that just sounds like it's miserable. The dog gets worked out. But I realized watching the movie that she is a bit like the dog, right? Like, this character is just barking and no one knows how to get her to stop and chill. And the problem with that is when you have things told out of order and you have a bunch of crazy visuals and wild flashes to things that may or may not be real, and you start to lose your semblance of like narrative thread in the movie, and your character is just kind of crappy to everyone in it and will not listen to anyone, it makes for a real long 2 hours. And that's why it's a homework movie. And that's why it's like a meat and potatoes movie. Like, I think this movie is for somebody. It just wasn't for me, man. Like, I was struggling through Time I Love. It's a lot of work. Shot really well. I want to talk about that, the cinematographer, real quick, but I'll give you a second to jump in.
Yeah, it's difficult to get through. I mean, it's slow. It's a 2-hour kind of experimental film, but it is doing some pretty interesting things. Like, yeah, I'm not real sure about the timeline. Like, there's a wedding scene in the movie. I don't know exactly when that takes place. Is that in the past? Is it in the present? Is it a fantasy? Is it a dream? We're not giving clear answers, but it's more about the feeling of there was a time when this relationship was young and exciting and everyone was really on board. There's a lot of interesting family dynamics. Their mother and father-in-law live nearby, played by Sissy Spacek and Nick Nolte. A lot of uncomfortable conversations. They find out that their only reason they're getting this house is because the uncle has killed himself, and they essentially inherited it. And then she starts asking real questions. She's like, "Where did he shoot himself? Did he shoot himself in the face? Did he shoot like what?" Like, it's just real. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Why are you asking this? Yeah. But she's just like, she just doesn't care. She's in this place where she's just, it's part inner and outer. I think she's losing her mind, but she's losing her mind because she's with this deadbeat husband who's maybe cheating on her and isn't providing for their family.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff with Pattinson that way, for sure. There's a couple indications that he's played pretty clean through the movie as just a struggling husband who's like working and like, babe, please try to get it together. You know, like, I'm dying here. Like, he doesn't have anybody to talk to. He seems lonely. But there are some odd implications that maybe there's more than meets the eye. And I was having some fun reading some fan theories after the movie was over. With an unreliable narrator, it's difficult to follow. Like, and if it's difficult to follow, it makes for a long 2 hours. And like, there's some good efforts made to make it work. There are some very notable sequences of action and violence and lust. And I want to talk about how it's shot by Seamus McGarvey shot the movie, who shot a bunch of really cool stuff. He shot We Need to Talk About Kevin with Lynne Ramsay back in 2011. That was her big feature. He shot The Avengers. He shot Atonement, Anna Karina, Nocturnal Animals. Like, like he has shot some really cool movies, also some odd ones too. But this film is shot like with this big color saturation turned up to make it look almost like an old photo. Like the blues of the sky are more like teal, and like the reds are kind of washed out, and it's just got kind of this presentation of something older. It's not quite 4:1, but it's awful full screen. It's not widescreen. It's like you got bars on the sides, you know, to make it seem a little bit older and a little bit taller, and all of that is offset with some goofy stuff too. Like there's a ton of day for night in here. All the night stuff is day for night, and they said in interviews that it was to make it more dreamlike, but I feel like that's just covering because it doesn't look good, and you know it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they like for all the night content in here, you shouldn't. Come on, you shouldn't have to tell us like it was supposed to be bad. Like no, it wasn't. It's I don't know. Like I think it's a good movie. I think there are people out there who will really connect with this. I think there are people suffering like depression or I don't know how it connects necessarily to like postpartum, but that's a very relevant theme here. There may be an audience out here who deeply connects with Die My Love. I think there will be people who go hard for this movie.
Right, but part of the look of it looks almost like a movie from the 70s. It's shot on 35 millimeter film. It's shot in a taller aspect ratio, 1:33:1. So it doesn't look like a kind of traditional movie. It looks like something that's very old, even though it's not. And again, I think that helps make it more timeless and more dreamlike. The day for night stuff doesn't look good, and there's a lot of night scenes, so it's a lot of it not looking good. But again, it's more about the feeling, the experience. I think it's trying to put you in her shoes, and again, you don't really know. The narrative isn't clear and it's not linear, and you don't really know what is and isn't real. But again, I think it's more about the feeling.
Yeah, I do want to say before we jump into recommendations, I feel like I should have said this earlier. It is a really good performance from Jennifer Lawrence. She's really good here. Like she's doing a lot of really expressive stuff. There's some improv stuff in here. She was actually pregnant with her second child while they were filming, which is crazy. And she talked about in interviews having to like suck her stomach in and stuff just to make it look like she wasn't. Like, I don't know. There's some really interesting things going on here. And she's digging into the idea of being a mom and the idea of being a wife and the idea of, like, I don't know, like she's fantastic. I like Pattinson, like Spacek and Nolte are great. Like really good performances. I do want to say that. I probably should have said that earlier, but any other thoughts or recommendations, Andy?
I think I'm ready.
Would you recommend Die My Love?
This is a bit of a soft pass. I think it's a hyper specific audience for this. I mean, it's a slow indie. It's definitely it's a tough look at motherhood. It reminds you of things like If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, starring Rose Byrne, which I've heard is also a really intense movie about motherhood. It's hard to watch, and it's like there's a child in danger kind of the entire movie. But the performance is incredible. She's probably going to get an Oscar nomination. Your mileage may vary. I'm not real sure who I'm going to recommend this to.
Yeah, it's a soft pass for me too. It is a 2-hour descent into madness, and Jennifer Lawrence is very good in it, in doing that, and Robert Pattinson's a lot of fun, but it's long, dude, and it's kind of told out of order, and like somebody will connect with this. There are people out there who will go for this movie for sure, but it just wasn't me. Like I think Die My Love is special. Just kind of a miss over here. And that's the episode. Good Lord. That's episode 319 of Off Script. I said it earlier, but next week is probably our biggest show of the year, I think. So if you like this episode, you got to come back for the next one.
Yeah. So a little bit interesting because we're going to be traveling next week, but this week we are seeing Avatar Fire and Ash. We have IMAX tickets. We're seeing it tomorrow in 3D. So we're going to try and get a video out at least about that. We're also going to be able to see the teasers for The Odyssey and Avengers Doomsday. That's going to be exciting. When we do come back, possibly on a New Year's week, we're also going to come back with Marty Supreme, which is out Christmas Day. Some FYI releases. The Housemaid comes out this Friday, December 19th. Song Sung Blue with Hugh Jackman. And I can't remember her name. It comes out on Christmas Day. And Kate Moss.
Kate Moss. Yes, of course, Kate Moss. Love Kate Moss. She's great. Love her.
The music, kind of musical cover band drama that looks like a lot of fun. Take your parents. And Anaconda also comes out on Christmas Day. But we'll be back sometime in the new year with Avatar Fire and Ash and Marty Supreme.
I should never wish ill on other people. None of us should. But there is a part of me that hopes Anaconda is such a huge fat bomb that anybody who worked on that movie just like steps away from the idea of trying to make chunky cash-ins. It looks so bad. And it'll probably do okay because it's kind of the goofy movie, right? Like it kind of hits like the Minecraft crowd a little bit with Jack Black in there, with Paul Rudd running around. Yeah, I'm like, it'll probably do all right, but like, boy, I see a lot of movies, man, and that thing just does nothing for me. But looking forward to Marty, looking forward to Avatar. If you enjoyed the episode today, if you like what we're doing here on Off Script, the best way to support us is just subscribe to the show on whatever platform you're watching this on. If you're on YouTube, hit subscribe, follow, whatever. Check out our other content, comment if you can. Any engagement you give us helps us immensely, and that stuff doesn't cost a dime. So yeah, if you want to follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, follow us over there. Like, comment, subscribe, man. Like I said, anything helps. You can leave a heart on a video and it helps. Like a thumbs up helps a ton. Audio listeners, we're on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, iHeartMedia. You can listen to us on the go. You don't got to watch all these trailers with us. You don't got to see this trailer footage. You can just listen, in your car, on the run, or on the road, or what have you. And yeah, check out our website, offscriptfilmreview.com. You can email us directly from you to us at mail@offscriptfilmreview.com. And that is episode 319 of Off Script, the home of bold cinema. I'm Zach Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Draper.
Thanks for watching.